our lives, not just unto ourselves. You've heard the saying, no man is an island. None of us are an island. We do things for others' sakes. We live our lives the way we live our lives so others could see how we emulate Jesus Christ. So they would desire to follow him. That old saying, the only Bible some people will read is you, how we live our lives. It was revealed to them that they were not serving themselves, but you, in the things that have now been announced to you. These people he was writing to, those who preach the good news to you by the Holy Spirit sent from heaven, things into which angels long to look into. Don't you know angels have a choice? They have a choice. Weren't there some angels that rebelled? They had a choice. And these angels, they obey God, and they looked into it. They probably wondered, why is this going on? Why is he doing this? But he's God. He does what he wants. So the prophets wanted to know. The angels wanted to know. Aren't we blessed to have the good news? I say it again. Aren't we blessed to have the good news? Yes, we are. Hebrews 11. By faith, the walls of Jericho fell down after they had been encircled for 7 days. By faith, Rahab the prostitute did not perish with those who were disobedient because she had given a friendly welcome to the spies. And what more shall I say? For time would fail me to tell of Gideon, of Barak, of Samson, of Jephthah, of David and Samuel and the prophets, who through faith conquered kingdoms, enforced justice, obtained promises, stopped the mouths of lions, quenched the power of fire, escaped the edge of the sword, were made strong out of weakness, became mighty in war, put foreign enemies to flight. Women received back their dead by resurrection. Some were tortured, refusing to accept release so that they might rise again to a better life. Others suffered mockings and floggings and even chains and imprisonment. They were stoned. They were sawn in two. They were killed with the sword. They went about in skins of sheep and goat, destitute, afflicted, mistreated, of whom the world was not worthy, wandering in deserts and mountains. And that's what we'll see next week. And in dens and caves of the earth. All of these, though commended through their faith, they were commended, did not receive what was promised, since God had provided something better for us, for you, for me, that apart from us, they should not be made perfect. Whew. That's something, isn't it? They gave up their life and all their earthly possessions and the things they could have had, loving a God they had not seen, and they didn't receive the promises. That shows their faith. How is your faith? You willing to give up all? I struggle with that. They were called to be holy. Therefore, preparing. The word, the King James used, gird your minds for action. That girding there, if you know how men dressed back then, they had the long flowing garments that they would wear. And when it says they would gird themselves, the garments they had would come down. And what they would do, they would bend down. I can't bend down too much. My back is hurting me. But they would bend down. They would grab it, and they would bring it up between their legs, and they would tuck it into their sash. And that way they would have pants sort of like, and that's called girding yourselves. And they would gird themselves so they could get ready for battle. So that's what he means when he says preparing, girding your minds, though, for action. It's all about the mental part of being a Christian. Girding your minds for action. Your mind has to be right. Your mind has to be in the place where you desire to do anything for Jesus and for God. Girding your mind for action. And being sober-minded, set your hope fully on the grace that will be brought to you at the revelation of Jesus Christ. He didn't say set your mind fully on all the material things that this world can provide, all the comforts that the world can give you. You set your minds on the revelation of Jesus Christ. You are fixed on the fact that Jesus Christ is coming back and he has prepared a place for you and you're going to spend eternity with God. You set your minds, you gird your minds. How? As obedient children, not to be conformed to the passions of your former ignorance. These people had former ignorance, whether they were Gentiles and they worshiped pagan gods, or whether they were the Jews and they were doing what they were doing, worshiping God in the fashion that they thought was right. Romans 12:2 says, do not be conformed to this world, but be transformed by the renewal of your mind. There it is, that mind again. That by testing, you may discern what is the will of God and what is good and acceptable and perfect. How do you determine what the will of God is? What's the word that's highlighted? Testing. Testing means you're going to go through trials and troubles and things such as that so that you can find out and discern what the will of God is for your life. Trick question. What is the will of God for us? To serve? Okay, what else? To spend eternity with him. And how do you know that? Because when you're tested and things don't go the way you want, when you're in pain, when you don't get what you want, maybe you've lost your job, you've lost a loved one, you're being tested, and you know that this is not all there is to life. A testing. Whatever that test may be. And some of the tests that come upon us are because of the decisions that we make. Because maybe our minds weren't in the right place. We didn't gird ourselves up. And we make decisions according to the world and not according